When morphine ran dry. The WWII Painkiller. History forgot. The battlefield doesn't wait for supplies. When morphine ran out, pain didn't politely stop. It screamed louder, and in that moment soldiers didn't panic. They adapted. This is the forgotten story of how World War II troops fought agony with whatever science, grit and nerve they had left. This isn't a tale of miracle drugs or clean solutions. It's about desperation, discipline, and a painkiller history quietly buried after the guns went silent. Morphine was the gold standard of battlefield pain control in World War II. It came in small syrettes, simple, fast, effective. But war eats supplies faster than factories can replace them. In brutal campaigns across Europe, North Africa and the Pacific, medics often faced the unthinkable. Wounded men, severe trauma, and empty morphine kits. No morphine meant no mercy from pain. Shrapnel wounds, bullet impacts, burns, fractures, shock. Something had to fill the gap, and something did. The most common substitute wasn't exotic or secret. It was aspirin, plain, powerful, ubiquitous. Aspirin had already been used for decades by the time World War II broke out. It reduced pain, lowered fever, helped inflammation. Every medic carried it. Every field hospital stocked it. When morphine was unavailable, aspirin became the frontline defense against suffering. But this wasn't a mild headache dose. Soldiers were often given aggressive amounts by modern standards. Enough to dull pain, take the edge off trauma, and allow movement. It didn't knock men out. It kept them functional. That mattered more than comfort. When available, codeine stepped into the shadows morphine left behind. Codeine is weaker than morphine, but still an opioid. It was sometimes issued in tablet form or combined with aspirin. This pairing gave medics a flexible option. Less respiratory depression, less risk of overdose in chaotic conditions. Still effective enough to take the bite out of serious pain. In prolonged engagements where evacuation was delayed, this combination kept soldiers conscious, mobile and alive long enough to reach surgical care. It wasn't elegant, it was survival medicine. Field medicine didn't always follow textbooks. In extreme shortages, alcohol was used for pain relief, not as anesthesia, but as a blunt instrument against suffering. A strong drink before wound cleaning, a swig before splinting a broken limb. It reduced anxiety, damped pain perception, calmed shock. It wasn't ideal. It wasn't safe by modern standards, but it worked when nothing else was available. Pain control in war has never been about perfection. It's about buying time. Pain is not just physical, it's psychological. Fear amplifies it. Isolation feeds it. Aspirin, codeine and alcohol didn't erase pain. They reduced it enough for the mind to cope, enough for soldiers to breathe steadily, enough to keep panic from taking over. Medics understood something critical. If you can control fear, you can control pain. This philosophy shaped battlefield care long before modern trauma medicine put a name to it. There was a cost. Without morphine, shock management became harder. Aspirin thins the blood. In wounded soldiers, that risk was real. Medics had to judge quickly. Pain relief versus bleeding risk. Consciousness versus collapse. These weren't academic choices. They were made in mud, smoke, and darkness. And they saved lives anyway. After the war, medicine moved fast. New drugs, better logistics, stronger opioids. The crude stopgaps of World War II didn't fit the clean narrative of progress, so they faded. But for thousands of soldiers, these forgotten painkillers were the difference between screaming helplessness and controlled survival. They didn't end pain. They gave men back control. Modern survival thinking loves gear and gadgets. World War II teaches something deeper. Redundancy matters. Simplicity matters. Understanding how basic tools work under stress matters most of all. Pain control isn't always about strength. Sometimes it's about availability, judgment, and nerve. Those battlefield lessons still echo today. When morphine ran out, soldiers didn't quit. They adapted. Aspirin became armor. Codeine became quiet backup. Alcohol became courage in a bottle. This wasn't forgotten science, it was hard-earned wisdom. And wisdom like that never really expires. If you value these lost lessons of war and survival, subscribe to War-Tested Survival. Share this story with someone who thinks history has nothing left to teach, because the past still has a few secrets worth remembering.